Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, it's said he's been mistaken for a creature of the deep and he's banned from swimming in the Loch Ness area. Well, he's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Haha, I'm only pulling your leg. Welcome along, and thank you for joining us for another week.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's going to be another in-depth episode. We're going to be looking into some crazy shit tonight. So whether you are a new visitor or a repeat offender, welcome along.
Oh yeah, keep repeating.
Welcome along for another show. We've got an interesting episode lined up. This week we're going to be venturing into the waters of the Russian Atlantic, the Baltic, and the vast network of rivers and lakes that adorn the Russian landscape. We're going to be delving into the realms of crazy sea anomalies, legends, and the mythical creatures that that might have endured there for centuries, or could potentially be the results of genetic experiments or even aliens. We're going to be looking into it a bit later on in the show.
We will.
Obviously, these lakes have been a lot of them unexplored. So they're going to be teeming with some sort of life. We're going to be diving right in a little bit later on in the show. But I think we've got quite a few little stories that are kind of all linked to this sort of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting show, and nonetheless. That's exciting, isn't it? That's something to look forward to.
It is. It's an interesting topic, this.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you don't really get much coming out of Russia, do you? Do you know what I mean?
No, not
in terms
really.
of like, the ufology stuff and what's actually going on, what's been seen over there. So it's nice to get a kind of a bit of an insight and some stories coming out of Russia in the UFO area.
Yeah, I think the best time on that one was when the Berlin Wall came down in the 1990s, and then like all the files were open and people could just walk into like literally labs and take like toxins and diseases and just walk out with them.
Well, I think that was just because there was no one in charge at the time.
That's it. So,
in terms of kind of like rights to data, basically being able to apply for data that might be kind of considered top secret or whatever. There was a load of documents released in the mid-2000s as well, which kind of shed light on some of these UFOs and UAPs that are kind of we're going to be talking about. But yeah, it's all interesting stuff.
It is indeed.
Don't sound too excited, Taylor. I mean, you just sound like, oh yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
It was an exciting story to look into.
Well, I've got. We know we talked last week about riddles. Yeah, and we were going to bring the riddles back. I'm going to start the thing off, right? Because we do have a riddle this week.
Right.
See if you. Well, I don't think it is already. To be honest, I just think someone's got something on the mind. So I'm going to hit you with my riddle.
Yeah.
And see if you can work it out.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, 1 minute. Let's get some tunage on. Right. This week's riddle, Mr. Taylor. You measure my life in hours, and I serve you till I expire. I'm quick when I'm thin, and slow when I'm fat, and the wind is my enemy. What am I? So, you measure my life in hours, I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin, and slow when I'm fat, the wind is my enemy. What am I?
Oh, that's interesting.
There's people out there who know the answer. They're shouting out the answer as we speak. I'm going to give you a bit of time to ponder that.
Yeah,
no cheating, Mr. Taylor.
I'm gonna have a wild guess right now.
Go on.
For some reason, water just keeps coming into my mind.
It is not water. I'm gonna give you to the news to have a bit of think about that. If you do know the answer, guys, well done.
Yeah.
It is a tricky one.
Yeah, he's baffled me already.
Well, I'll let you sit on that one for a minute. You've got to get me next week, but I'm determined to make this a 2-0 victory in terms of playing the game.
Yeah, oh no, I'm coming back.
All right, we'll see what happens.
I'm coming again.
What have you been up to this week, Mr. Taylor? Have you had a nice week?
Well, yeah. Not too bad actually. Just a bit of work and.
Didn't you tell me that somebody gave you a high five so powerful that it nearly broke your hand?
Yeah, last night. Yeah, so I've got a high five, and then
that is a powerful high five.
And yeah, but
was it Barney Stinson?
Fuck knows, but he had some strength behind it. Put it that way, he put some. He put some
stank on it.
He did.
Yeah, I'm gonna high five you. I'm gonna put some stank on it.
And it was like you. But obviously, I was walking away going like, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was alright.
Oh, you get these things, don't you? Yeah. But I mean, it's like, you know, when this guy obviously works out. He's give you a high five, nearly took your hand off.
Yeah.
You know, be careful out there. There are, at least 8 times a year people are admitted to A&E for high five related injuries. So just be safe out there, people.
Health and safety, man. You know what I mean?
At least 8. At least. Do you know what I mean?
I reckon there's more.
There's probably more, actually. Yeah. Well, maybe we should do the research on it. We'll find out how many high five related injuries there are a year.
Yeah.
And if there is a lot, maybe we should do a propaganda sort of like, public service announcement video. Just to warn people the dangers of aggressively high fiving people.
It'd be fist bumps next. Everyone's fist bumping now, aren't they?
Well, fist bumps is just one step off a punch, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's true.
I
just missed your fist.
We're living in a health and safety, world these days. Well, so you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you've had a nice week then. I've had a very weird one because I've just basically had water damage from upstairs. Do you know when water? There's a funny thing about water. It goes with gravity.
It does.
So when there's a leak upstairs, you find that it generally comes down for a quick hello.
Yeah.
So so I've been dealing with that this week, as well as just kind of doing a lot of lives on TikTok as well. So if you've never joined us on TikTok live. We're doing a lot of lives over there at the minute. So join us over there. Lovely community over there. I'm going to give some shout outs today.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll give some shout outs to them. We've got a main little posse. I'm going to give us a shout out, subscriber shout out. To our subscribers over on TikTok. So big shout out to Holly.
Yeah, Holly.
Big shout out to Jess.
Yes, Jess.
Big shout out to Josh.
Josh,
Josh is a dude, I like Josh. Josh, who else? We've got Oliver.
Oliver, yeah, that's right.
And Kat.
Kat, yes.
Well done for you subscribing, and thank you for the support. Obviously, if you want to subscribe and get a shout out on the show, go over to TikTok and subscribe to our channel over there. Link in our Linktree description. Yes, loads of extra content as well.
Yes, there is.
We've got loads of content everywhere. We're always dropping content, and I tell you what, we don't disappoint because we do big content drops usually on a Monday. And tomorrow's just the same. Got a new episode of the podcast, the one you're listening to right now.
Oh yes!
Wow, futuristic.
Lucky people.
And then there's going to be just loads of extra stuff coming up as well. So you're lucky this week and every week because you know what, we do this just for the love of it.
Yes, that's right.
This week's episode is brought to you in part by Hive Mind Clothing. It's a Manchester clothing brand.
It is.
That has got some really nice designs for clubbing, whatever you're wearing. For clubbing, festivals, all that stuff.
Festivals at the minute, so it's well worth.
There's a lot of Manchester-themed designs, and they're created by a Manchester-based clothing line, with some excellent designs using eco-friendly materials, plants, trees, and even has free postage.
Come on, man!
Great company to check them out. There'll be a link in the description. Whippity-doo-da-day.
Yay.
I don't know. Do you know what? Yeah. So, have I got anything else to talk about? Well, yeah, actually, yeah. So if you do like to show support, you can go over to the website and check out our website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk. There's plenty of downloadable content and stuff over there. New episodes weekly, extra videos, tons of blogs.
Loads of stuff there.
Loads of stuff. So it's well worth checking out.
Jam-packed.
It's jam-packed. Jam-packed's not even the word. Well, it's brimming.
It's
overflowing. It's bulging at the seams.
Breaking the internet.
Yeah, no, not that far yet, but it's all good in the hood. Well, this tonight's episode, like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about the Russian waters surrounding Russia and the Ukraine and basically the Eastern Bloc, I suppose.
Yeah.
You've got the Russian Arctic Ocean.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got
Black
a
Sea.
lot of rivers and lakes. The Black Sea, of course. There's a lot of rivers and lakes that I wouldn't even say that have been kind of fully explored, because
Well, some of it will be, if you think about it, in like Siberian areas, will be covered in like.
oh yeah,
not even.
this is what I was just about to say. So there's a lot of like areas of Russia and Siberia that have not really been explored because they've been under a glacier for God knows how long, and because with the global warming at the moment, there's a lot of areas of Russia that are suddenly becoming accessible, and to find this life, dwelling in these sort of uninhabited places, in harsh places, kind of does suggest that that life can find a way in even the harshest of environments.
Well,
but
well, they reckon.
but there's some people who don't even think it's naturally Earth life, and it could be something else entirely.
Well, yeah, well, true. Well, don't forget, they've just, is it octopi? They've just changed.
Octopi?
Not octopus. Squid. They've just, scientists have changed their mind, haven't they? And they believe, actually, squid are not actually from Earth.
What?
They don't believe that they're from Earth.
Well, how did they get here?
Well, this is the thing, that it's either an offcut of a animal that lived like millions of years ago, and as it is.
But they're
not a
trying to
part
say in
of-
terms of like our ecosystem, it's not native
Yeah.
to this planet.
Yeah,
Now, it's funny
basically.
that, because I've always said about kind of the Earth being the ark. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these
yeah,
animals.
yeah.
We can kind of say, well, this one is kind of like this one, and that one is like that one, and over millions of years, you would have got like breeding on the planet, which create new species, which are native to the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, were the original animals that were here native? Because I mean, like, we have this idea that we might have even been seeded by aliens. So does that make us not native from planet Earth, or native because I feel like we've been here that many generations that we are now native to planet Earth, but or maybe on an original level we wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the octopus
yeah,
is kind of the only, or the squid, if you like, is kind of like the only animal that actually shows any evidence of that. Do you know what I mean? In terms of its like how it's genetically made up, or how it fits into our ecosystem.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit into our.
It's funny actually,
our planet.
because I did hear a story about, I think it was in Alaska, and there was some divers who'd cut a hole in the ice, and they were doing some exploration of the deep underneath this ice sheet, and they were trying to look for life, and they come up with an octopus or a squid or something like that started mimicking the human shape and trying to pass itself off as a diver. They had an altercation with it. They ended up cutting off one of the arms. Yeah, and they said that they all kind of got out. They had this really harrowing experience under the water.
Yeah, that's
but then when they came out and they threw this like extra tentacle that they'd kind of cut off in the struggle to the side, they said it come back to life in the night and tried to kill them.
Yeah. Well,
So, there are kind of stories about squids and this type of thing. But I think that we've got a few of these type of things tonight, haven't we, in tonight's show?
Yeah. Oh yeah. More of a humanoid kind of.
Hominoid. Humanoid.
Like.
Right, okay. Well, I think we shouldn't waste any more time. I think we should get into one or two of these stories.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to be asking questions. Taylor's being the expert tonight.
Wow, I wouldn't say an expert, but
Well, he's got the goods. He's got the goods, is what I'm saying. I'm kind of in for the ride tonight.
You are?
I am. Well, I'm interested. Come on, enlighten. Right, so go for it.
So, all right, then we'll go with one story. August 1991, a diver in the Ukraine dived in the Black Sea. Was
So can I just stop you there? So was he just like what was he doing diving? Was he kind of like a lone diver? Was he just sort of like doing a bit of salvaging for himself, or was he military?
a hobby.
Just a hobbyist diver.
Yeah, a hobbyist diver.
Right. Okay. So what was he actually doing there in the was it the Black Sea? Did you say?
Yeah, the Black Sea. Yeah. Well, him and his pals usually dive around there, and because it's such a nice place. So this time he went off on his own, and he felt a tap on his shoulder about 100 meters away from the shore. So he turned round, doesn't see anything. So he's thinking it's his mates. His mates are playing the fucking prank on him.
Well, especially if you've been out and you've gone out, on your own and you're scuba diving and stuff like that. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances of your mates being able to find you in an ocean?
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just to play a prank and tap you on the shoulder. I think if they were in a boat or something, you might have seen the boat or something to suggest that they were
off somewhere else, and then they just come across him and gone like, you know what?
Oh yeah, we're gonna play a trick on him. Yeah, I can see that. That could be the case. Go on,
lads, get together. You know what I mean? So
a bit of bants.
Yeah, that's it. Shit him off it. So he's thought nothing of it and thought like, it's just his mates pranking him. So he's carrying on doing what he's doing, and then all of a sudden he got a whack on the shoulder, like someone just punched him in the back of the shoulder.
So it might not. Do you think it might have been? It could have been a bit of debris, or a bit of was it a turbulent, choppy night in the ocean?
No, nice calm night.
Because you think a wave might hit him in the back. That might feel like you've been punched or something.
That's it. Underneath waves and stuff like that. Yeah, it could have. Which I think.
But this guy feels like it's a presence. There's somebody there. There's somebody tapping him on the shoulder and trying to get his attention, basically.
Yeah, and they got his attention, all right.
Okay, so what happened?
So he turned round and spots this humanoid-looking female with big eyes, but the eyes weren't humanoid. He said.
What were the eyes like then? Because I mean, like. Right, okay, so first thing, when you said it was a female, automatically I've gone mermaid. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So what are the chances of an actual mermaid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chances are it did have a tail. Yes.
Right, no, so did he see a tail, or is he just kind of saying it could have had a tail? I didn't really see it.
He stated there was a tail because he stated that it looked at him like kind of friendly first.
A bit like we've come to bed eyes.
Yeah.
Almost like, hey, big boy, what are you doing out here in the frigid ocean?
But it glowed.
It was glowing.
It was glowing. It had like, if you had tattoos and that, the tattoo would glow. But it was like all over body.
Shimmering.
So, yeah.
So it was a little mermaid.
Yeah. So he's obviously shit himself. And he thought, right, I'm getting back to the shallows. So he's headed off back to the shallows, and he's just when he thought he was safe, he got another big whack on the back of the shoulder.
Well, no, she doesn't sound friendly, this mermaid. She seems like she's grievous bodily harm. She keeps kind of attacking the guy and punching him on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's to get his attention or just to kind of cause him harm, I don't know.
I think the first tap was to get his attention, but you've ignored me
I
now.
mean, it's like, why am I punching
harder.
you? Well, you're punching me now. This is aggression.
Yeah.
So it's like... was it aggression in the sense that he didn't kind of like he was scared and wanted to get out of the water as fast as possible, and she's took it the funny way? But this is the thing, right? So do you think this was a legitimate mermaid sighting, or do you think this was something else otherworldly? Do you know, because are mermaids aliens?
Possible. Well, I haven't seen a Little Mermaid with big fuck off eyes.
I have in Disney films. Do you know what I mean?
Big eyes.
Yeah, they've all got massive eyes in Disney films, haven't they?
Well,
they're drawn that way.
And it was humanoid. It wasn't human.
Well, I'd say any sort of mermaid. If you were to bump into a mermaid, it wouldn't be human. It'd be humanoid, wouldn't it? Any mermaid would be, because it's not exactly human, but it takes the shape of a human in some ways. It's got human characteristics. So a mermaid would fall, in my opinion, in that category.
Yeah.
If it was half human and half fish, then it's a humanoid, isn't it? It's not a human being.
Well,
it's a human it's a human leg, with no legs and a fishtail.
Well,
something else entirely, that.
Well, he was glad he actually went to the shore, because when he got the second big punch on the back and he turned round, it actually come out of the water a bit.
I think I got attacked by a mermaid. I've got a fucking achy shoulder. That might have been what it was.
The eyes turned black and was looking at him like, really. Really vicious.
This does sound like something out of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Yeah, because then they have mermaids in one of those.
Yeah, to tease you to the water and then...
Well, they're like sirens.
That reminded me of
Well, yeah, because that's a different thing entirely, isn't it? Because a siren and a mermaid, would you consider those the same thing? Because... I mean, there are stories from kind of like old sea sort of fables and stuff, and stories that suggest that these mermaids would lure sailors to the rocks with their song, and then try and drag them down, kill them or whatever. But
then the Kraken was supposed to be.
The Kraken was something else, though. The Kraken's nothing to do with mermaids.
Yeah, but
the Kraken would be a sea creature of epic proportion. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't even say the Kraken would be a humanoid. It would be more like a giant squid.
Yeah.
Like more like the despair squid.
We didn't even believe that there was giant squids until I think it was 1990s.
Well, no, I would have said if he believed in what these sailors would have said back in the day.
Well, yeah.
Now. The only people who actually knew what went on at the sea, in the sea, were these sailors, right? Yeah. So if they come back and say, "Oh, the sea, she's a house mistress," or "We seen some things," yeah, you can't believe them because they're the only guys who've been out there and ventured out.
Yeah, but
and when all these sailors keep coming back and saying they've seen stuff.
Yeah, but then you've got stuff like dehydration.
Scurvy.
And so they might be, exaggerating a lot of stuff, and then it's going back and going.
It was delirium.
I went to this island. It's called America, and it's great.
We just found it. We just found it. Right. Okay. So, what do you think? Do you think this was a case of? It was a mythical creature. Do you think it was a genetic experiment? When was this actually?
1991.
1991, right? So chances of it being could be alien.
Yeah.
Now we've talked about UAPs and stuff like that, and
USOs,
the USOs and stuff like this. Yeah. So I found this one story, and it was basically about a Russian submarine.
Yeah.
They were on a routine kind of mooch around. I think it was the Baltic, right? And when all of a sudden they came across a formation of UAP, what are they called? USOs.
USOs,
submerged craft in a formation of a triangular formation like you would find on a typical UFO sighting.
I think there's a lot more to do with the sea than
well, it's a good cover, isn't it? It's a place to hide. I mean, we don't really. And considering we know frighteningly little about the oceans when we know more about what's going on in space at the moment. So, I mean, it would be the perfect place to hide.
We know more about the surface of the moon than we know about our oceans. They reckon we know about 20% of our oceans. I think that's bollocks. I think it's more like 5%. It's more like all the coasts from around the world. That's really it.
Yeah. In terms of the depths of the ocean, I mean, we've not been able to kind of pinpoint stuff. And it's that vast that somebody might start trying to map it out and stuff, but how far will they get before the life's over? Do you know what I mean? They might not be able. It'd be a generation after generation job to kind of do it.
Now, I think it's going to take us a long time, and I think we haven't got the technology still.
Well, no, I think do you know, in terms of what we've done with the James Webb Telescope? Yeah. Maybe if we had an unmanned craft that we could put in the ocean. And, it just comes to the surface, charges up, and then goes back down, and does a load of scanning and sends data back.
That went round for 2 years around the Earth and then come back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, what's the problem with doing something like that, which would be more submersible?
It's all about investments and money and how much.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's more chances of finding something under the ocean, that might be worth salvaging than sending things out into space. Now, we know space does kind of grow our understanding of the universe and all those questions.
Yeah.
But from an investment opportunity, I would suggest that you were more likely to find deposits of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
You'd more likely find sunken galleons and
More gold
treasures
and
that
that.
were
I
lost
totally
at
agree.
sea.
Yeah.
You'd be finding
There'd be
hidden,
value down
potentially
there.
hidden and lost civilizations. There's so much more to potentially discover under the ocean.
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally
So
agree.
if we're talking investment opportunities, I definitely recommend you go and do that.
I think we
But
should have started doing that.
Sending something like a
21st century straight
you
off.
know, an unmanned submersible that just basically lives underwater and reports back what it finds
I
is a
think we-
definitely good idea.
I think we should cut it up and have a bunch of them happening.
Well, maybe, but you don't want to start going, oh yeah, this is China's bit, this is Russia's bit, this is England's
No,
bit,
I mean,
because
cutting the
then
squares
everyone
and,
starts
you know.
battling over
Well, that's-
your bit, your submersibles come into our bit.
Well, after 3 miles apart from the USA, it's 100 miles. It's international waters, so you can do anything basically.
Okay. Well, well, what's the next story there, Captain?
Okay, our next story. Well, I haven't finished with this geezer yet.
All right, we'll
because,
crack on because we'll run out of time.
Well, he kept coming back. He tried several times to go back and actually search for the.
Did he have any luck?
No. Didn't.
So it's a one-off.
It was a one-off, but he was there for like years, diving there with his mates anyway, and then all of a sudden this thing happened, and then.
I
he's
suppose
gone
that's
back
a
to
really
try and
interesting
see.
one. If he's been there years and years and years, and then all of a sudden something happens,
Then he mustn't be living in the area.
well,
then
no,
I'd
but I mean, I'd be
personally
kind of
say.
like, I would be keeping an eye out. You know, if
Oh,
if I was there all the time
Yeah.
anyway, I'd be definitely wondering why that was just a one-off occurrence and I've never seen it again.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, what was the story behind this mermaid or this hominoid in the first place? I mean, was it like, lost at sea and needed help? Was it potentially like, trying to get his attention for, reasons, for those type of reasons that it was actually stranded and thought that he might be able to help?
Yeah.
And that's why it started getting aggressive because he tried fleeing.
But then is it like the mermaids or Saurons that actually, enchant the diver to follow me into...
Yeah,
the
like a
depths?
siren.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to have him off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he didn't have it, so
Good
then she
lad.
got a bit more vicious.
Well, I wouldn't have gone back looking for it,
Well,
just in case it started singing some Beyonce at me or something, and I went and jumped in the water.
yeah, but that's... Well, no, I would go... Yeah, I would go back to try and have a look, because I
Maybe.
wanted to finish the
I'd-
story.
I'd want to go back just to prove to people and myself that I wasn't crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's gone back and regaled people with his story,
They go,
and rather like
you're-
you're going, you're nuts,
you're
you,
having the- you're
or
you.
prove it. Yeah. So he's got to try and
that's-
prove his case now. So
True.
that's the only reason why I'd end up going back.
True. Yeah. Well, there is
Well,
that.
I don't know.
But
What
then-
do you guys think at home? I mean, what do you think this guy saw
And
in
should
the
he have gone off
ocean?
with her? Should he have gone off with her?
Nah, I wouldn't have.
Well, yeah. Well, you can tell the tale now, can't you?
Well, yeah, that's it. Well, those who say goodbye to the mermaid live to sing another song,
yeah.
if you like. Okay, right. Okay, well, let's see what the next story's got. I mean, this was mermaids in the Russian seas. So
Yeah.
what's next?
Right. Well, summer of 2002 in Odessa, which is in Ukraine.
Yeah, Odessa.
Yeah. And in the Black Sea, 3 divers were swimming around the area, and they seen a box in the middle of
Treasure.
well, you would think that, wouldn't you?
Arr.
Yeah.
Someone's left a treasure chest for us here, boys. Let's go and investigate.
That's it. That's what you would do, wouldn't you? You go and have
Yeah,
a look.
you would, wouldn't you?
Got full of seaweed over it, and like clams and shit.
Oh,
like
so
that.
this has been there a while
Yeah,
now. So they're
it's-
thinking, yes,
Yeah,
this
we've
could
got-
be doubloons,
Yeah.
jewels,
That's it.
lost treasures.
treasure time.
What? So go on, right? So they've obviously tried to retrieve this box from the bottom of the ocean.
Well, they tried to take off some of the seaweed and some of
The scum.
some of the animals that have planked themselves on there. And as they were doing this, they felt a noisy vibration and words saying, "Don't do that. don't do that.
Right, okay. So did it say don't do that, or was it like warning? Like there was a warning sign.
Yeah.
So something was happening that was making them suggest that they should leave this alone.
Yeah.
It was Jumanji, right?
Yeah.
So basically, they heard the dunk, 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 and they didn't think. Nah, I've seen that movie. I think we should leave this here. I don't want monkeys all over my house. Yeah, right. I've just done the kitchen. I don't want a rhino ruining me kitchen worktops.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So they probably should have left it where it was, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, they did, but as they're leaning back away from it, the environment changed. This is what they're saying. The environment turned into like Greek underwater, like
ruins.
cities. Yeah, like ruined cities.
Ah.
And they two beings, humanoid, walking. Humanoids.
So were they still underwater?
Yeah.
Were they still submerged underwater, and
Yeah.
all these ruins just appeared out of nowhere?
Yeah, literally, as they supposedly as they've come back away from it after it's been warned, they've been warned to not do that. As they come back, the environment around them had changed.
Okay, so right.
So, and within this environment, there were two humanoid beings.
Well, two things come to my mind here, right? So this box
Yeah.
was rather a trigger for some sort of shielding or some sort of kind of
Yeah, that's
like
what made me think.
a kind of like a cloaking device, if you like, to hide
Yeah.
this society of underwater people, right? Yeah. There's
agree.
that, or there was something in this box that was able to shift their dimensional reality or something like that. So maybe they travelled
Ooh,
through a
didn't think of it that
wormhole to a potentially a parallel world where this existed. Because I mean, if it was your environment changes around you, then that suggests something's kind of like, you know, being rather shielded and hidden, or you've tampered with something that you shouldn't have tampered with. Yeah.
Makes
So
me think of Atlantis.
well, yeah, potentially. But then why is this device or whatever was in the box had obviously been thrown to the bottom of the ocean for a reason? Yeah. So
Yeah, it was like a
was it there?
see-through box.
Was it there to be discarded and hidden so nobody could get their hands on it? Yeah.
Or
Was it a piece
way
of
to
technology?
connect to the other side
Was it a piece of
whatever?
technology that was so advanced that they needed to kind of no one man should possess this technology, so they got rid of it? Or
yeah.
was it there for a reason, like it was there to kind of like, you know, as a key, a gateway to get into, like you say, if it was, say,
Yeah,
Atlantis, was this environment being hidden and cloaked
Yeah.
by some sort of higher power or some sort of technology?
Yeah,
Maybe, I
well,
don't know. I mean, I'm just
or they could
clutching
be
at
just-
straws,
They
but
could be just lying, for all we know. But this
yeah,
is
that's
their
another.
story.
That is definitely another option.
We've got to
Um,
consider all the options. And
So
like,
you
it
say,
just-
you know, these guys, I mean, what in terms of like their rank or job role or whatever, were they just divers?
just divers.
So they had
yeah.
nothing to gain from
No.
lying.
No.
Obviously, I don't think anyone would have anything to gain from lying about anything like this.
No, if anything, it brings more people to like be put in the corner, and you know, like.
Oh
like,
yeah,
we
it kind
don't
of
wanna
makes
talk to
people
you.
think like, don't
And
talk
it's
to
not
them, they're
really
loonies,
a
yeah.
moneymaker, is it?
Can
You
I just
might
ask
make
a
it
question?
little bit.
Right. So the two.
Oh, you can.
So the environment's changed around them. They've
Yes.
messed with this, tampered with this box, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden they've decided, whoa, something's going on here. We don't really want to be messing with this,
Well, they
right?
were supposed to
We've been warned.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a warning. Rather, I don't know how it is, if it's flashing lights or like the box has started talking underwater or what. Yeah. But there's
Yeah.
been some sort of warning.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden the environment's changed around them, and there's two figures there.
Yeah.
I would say they sound like guards. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
right.
imagine you're at the gate of a castle, right? You know, back in the old medieval times, right? You'd have two guys, sentries,
sentry, yeah.
on the door, yeah, right? So if you've discovered a hidden underwater kingdom, yeah, and you found the entrance to it, the first people you'd come to would be the sentries, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That sounds like who these two
Plausible.
guys are, and they've kind of warned them to get to fuck, move on.
Yeah.
Now,
tampering with somebody shouldn't be.
exactly, but I mean, is that not enough to kind of like, I mean, if you were in a hidden society, yeah, wouldn't you be worried that you've been discovered, that these guys are going to go off and bring more people with them? Do you know what I mean?
If you couldn't move the box, I suppose. If you couldn't move the box to a different position, then
Again, it's like, I mean, the box itself,
now.
I mean, it could be very interesting to find out what that is, and obviously you might want to try and rediscover that and kind of recover it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out exactly where it is, and the reason why is because of to do with another UFO story, to do with in 1980 in Rendlesham Forest.
Okay,
now,
we're talking about the Rendlesham Forest quite a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Go on, why is that linked?
Because of the viral information that John got through his mind, and he wrote it down and left it in the notebook, and then found it later on, and then got it changed.
But what's the link?
Because there are 7 areas around the world that is supposed to help us, humanity, move on to the next level.
Ah, right. So you think this
one
box,
of them's in that area?
This box could have something to do with that?
Yeah.
Do you think that this could be? I mean, like we talk again. I mean, we know as human beings that we can't survive underwater.
No.
Yeah. Right. So the idea that these beings could have, evolved to kind of survive in these sort of environments is one option. The other option, like we said, was potentially that it's beings from another planet, or somebody, or even genetically modified creatures.
A part of us.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of kind of stuff that goes on in, obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on around the world in laboratories that isn't kind of, that don't have the same sort of health and safety standards as kind of other parts of the world, or even laws in to say that you can and can't do certain experiments.
And don't forget, before the pandemic, every year there was at least
there's
1,000 leaks.
There's been loads of things
every
found in the shores of Russia, and the streams of Russia and stuff like that. That they are basically saying they're either new species or they're genetic mistakes, because there's so many. Now you could argue that's partially to do with Chernobyl and the radiation that's been spilt into the area. Has that kind of affected the marine life in the area? And if so, how much? So you've got that episode, in The Simpsons, where you've got the fish swims by the nuclear power plant and it's got 3 eyes, Blinker or whatever, right? It's a similar sort of situation. Now they have found fish with more eyes than they should have. They've found lots of different genetic mistakes in terms of marine life over there. So, the chances are that something could have grown abnormally large, or kind of grown it. I wouldn't say that they've grown to have a community just yet.
No,
but, I mean, these arguments to say that there could be some sort of genetic throwbacks or something based on this information. I don't know.
I think it's they're an age of a generation of something, either alien or us, or they were already here before we got
it's
here.
Aquaman.
Stuff like that. But I don't think we've caused anything, but
we might have
changed some of the genetics.
Maybe
within the sea, definitely not.
Yeah, I definitely believe that there's been that much kind of I think there's been that many kind of mistakes made in labs that where'd you get rid of it? You just dump it in the ocean. So there's plenty of stuff going around. Right, okay. I believe we've got one more story.
We have, yes. Actually, I've got 2.
Okay, well we need to press on. So give us the skinny.
I'll give you the skinny one. Right. So 1997, a diver called Nicholas M. Was off Pittsburgh Bay, Finland, and he found what he thought was, and this guy's an expert submariner diver.
A frogman.
Yeah. So he's gone out hobbying, having a look, and he finds this like cucumber thing. It looks hard object.
A cucumber.
Yeah, it looks like a
Like
cucumber.
how big? How big's
Yeah.
a cucumber?
I mean, you're talking about the size of a cannon.
what?
Yeah, it's massive.
It's a sea cucumber.
Yeah. So he's like, but it's hard shell. So it's like, right, okay, let's try and drag it out. So he's threw some rope round it, trying to drag it. It's slipping off. He can't do it. So he's thought, right, well, it's nearer the shore. I'll bring the car down to the shoreline. I attach the rope to that and then drag it out. I drill a hole in the corner of it and, right through so I can...
So you can attach a
yeah.
rope and try and yank it out of the ocean floor.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened next?
So he's started drilling. So as he's drilling this bioreference glow of
An luminescence,
Yeah.
a luminescent glow,
That's the
bioluminescence.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And
That's what he's trying to say,
that
kids.
is what I was trying. I even wrote it down. But so this has come out. So it hasn't bothered him, and he's carried on until he hits something hard. So as he's doing this, he's hit something hard, and then all of a sudden, like the shell of it half opened. So it's like, oh, what's this? So he's opened it up, and as he's opened it up, there is a milky humanoid plain face of creature within this cocoon. It would have to be a cocoon.
Do you know what? I was thinking about that movie, Cocoon, and do
Yeah.
you know when you said
It's
that?
sort of like that,
it
yeah.
kind of like, it literally just reminded me of like when the cocoon opens and like the woman comes out
Yeah.
and she's like really pale but really no features
Yeah,
and
that-
stuff like that. So you're trying to tell me that like, Steve Guttenberg was like on the boat above trying to fish out this cocoon,
Hey, well,
pulling
right,
it out with his car.
well,
This does sound like the movie Cocoon, Taylor.
yeah,
Come on.
it does slightly. It does. So, obviously the object within it had got out, looked at him, and started attacking him. So as he
Mama.
actually took his hand off. He actually lost his hand through it. And to defend himself, with the drill that he had in his hand, he fought back with it, and then the alien had obviously
Seriously, he lost his hand.
He lost his hand.
And I mean, it wasn't a shark or anything like that.
No. It'd been clawed, but for some
Right,
reason...
okay, so it literally severed his hand
Yeah,
off.
basically.
Wow, so this thing was vicious, whatever it was.
Yeah. So
And what happened there? Did it escape, or did he manage to catch it?
He
Right?
basically escaped. He tried finding the beast, and they never fought.
So it was basically an egg, really, wasn't it? A
Yeah.
cocoon or an egg?
Yeah.
So it could have been like a moth or a butterfly, whereas like a, you said it was like a cucumber. So
Yeah,
that
right.
makes me think it was like a kind of a caterpillar type thing
Yeah.
that has kind of cocooned itself,
cocoon.
and then it's been disturbed and broke out of its cocoon early, basically. So it wouldn't be happy, would it?
No. But
maybe.
yeah, you know what? When I was looking at this story, I didn't even thought about Cocoon until you just said that.
That movie Cocoon,
Yeah.
sounds very similar. Okay,
But
well
if
that's an interesting one.
It is.
Well, let's do
It
this
is.
last story because I know we're running out of time for the main topic tonight.
Yeah.
But this one's a really interesting one, and I've seen bits of this one. So
Yeah, this is to do with the actual Russian Navy now. There was a set of nine people, troops basically, divers who in 1982 went into one of the lakes at 164 feet of depth, spotted giant beans.
beans,
Ten-
baked beans,
Well, beans as in EBEs.
beings, yeah.
10 feet high. So the divers tried to go as close to him to try and actually try and capture one because
they wanted to kind of. Well, I believe that they were kind of like at first they were a bit kind of like low visibility. They're trying to see what these things are, but like they could make out something in the water.
Yeah,
and then they got quite close to them,
which was interesting for the first one of the first cases I've seen with helmets.
Now, did they have helmets? Because I've seen sort of things. There's one of the articles I seen on this suggested that they might have been kind of. Do you know, like when you see a jellyfish?
Yeah.
Possibly. And how like a jellyfish kind of floats in the water and it's got its tentacles below.
Yeah.
It was almost to suggest that the helmets were jellyfish heads.
Yeah, part of the body. Covering something.
Sort of, or kind of almost like the water's catching these flaps.
Yeah.
And kind of making them kind of inflate or like look like a bit like an umbrella or look like a helmet. Do you know what I mean?
Unless the reporter has changed the word, according to these men, it was they were wearing helmets.
Okay,
so
well then I can understand that.
But
I'm just trying to see where I'm coming from. Yeah. So these were more kind of like these resembled more kind of like a sea creature, but in the shape of a humanoid.
Yeah, flat face, no big
features
eyes,
again. Yeah.
And all these cases, or majority of these cases, bar the first one, they wore like tight silver suits, which in one of the stories I've seen, there was something about someone wearing one of these kind of suits, which actually they got into one of these suits and it just automatically fit you perfectly. No matter what, it was like,
okay.
That's an interesting story.
So how did they get into one of these suits? They found a suit?
They were given a suit, one of these suits when they were someone was abducted, and they were explaining about how.
And they're trying to say that this is a similar thing.
This seems to be.
I'm not sure about that. It was like they managed to get a suit. Where did they get it? Oh, they were given one. Where did they get? Who did they give it? You know what I mean? It just seems a bit kind of like far fetched, that bit. But you know, I mean,
yeah,
they got it for Christmas. They put it on the Christmas card list, and the aliens just dropped them one off for Christmas.
There's lots to the story, though. There was a lot more back to that. But this 1982 business. So so as the troops went closer to him, these let's call them aliens or creatures had some kind of force.
It was a sonic blast, as I believe.
Something that pushed them from 164 feet.
Well, that's a good. Well, if you think about in terms of like oceanic warfare, right? Yeah. Now think about how whales communicate. They communicate with sonar.
Yeah, sonar.
So they know that these kind of like a force underwater would need to be something that could travel through water.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're developing underwater weaponry, like a sonic blast would be the one you go for.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
We've got them.
And like so, the idea that these guys were attacked by sonar weaponry. Yeah. Now, the report I read, they've said that they blasted them out of the ocean pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. They went from 164 feet to the top of the ocean, and then three died, 4 seriously injured.
Yeah, so I mean, 3 dying. And I think the injuries were conducive to the story.
Yeah.
So, and
pressure.
again, this is the Russian Navy. So
yeah,
I mean,
it has to be written in an official report.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of like, you know, so what did they say? So the official report suggested that they saw a group of, individuals who they couldn't identify, using weaponry that they couldn't identify. And just basically like saying that there was something amiss with it all.
Yeah, there was a number of them down there. It wasn't like 1 or 2 this time. It was like quite a few. Like, so I in some kind of way, I think they were already kind of knew that something was going to go on there.
So do you think that they were there looking for these things in particular, the Navy, or do you think that it was a case of that they just happened to come across them and that just kind of like confirmed pre-existing reports?
I actually think the Navy were looking for something else, but these creatures didn't want them to find it, so they had to throw themselves forward and threaten them off.
Okay,
basically.
well there you go. Well, it's been an interesting one.
It has.
I think obviously there is a lot going on in the waters. I'm not a big fan of the ocean, as you know, but I mean this is why. Yeah. You never know what the fuck's in there.
That's true.
But if you've got anything to add about tonight's topic,
Yeah, please do.
if you've had an experience yourself, let us know.
We can put you on as a guest if you have.
So many crazy stories coming out of the oceans and waters of Russia, all supposedly suggesting that there's some sort of life that we don't know about lurking.
Well,
whether that's true or not.
It's the biggest continent in it, really. So if you think about it, there is
Like I say, undiscovered areas as well in
definitely.
Siberia and Russia. So whether they are indeed mermaids, genetic mistakes, throwbacks from another time, or aliens is undetermined. But we will be, we'd be interested to find out. Well, there you go. I think that's it for this area, this part of the show.
Yes.
We'll be moving on. But if you've got any questions, comments, or suggestions, don't forget to send us an email or a comment.
Please do. We're welcome at any.
Always happy to reply.
Always.
Well, I think we've got the news coming up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I say, we've got the news, and that's coming up right about now. It's the news! The nibbly news time. Well, yeah, we've scoured the World Wide Web to find you the newsiest news, and I don't think we're disappointed.
Nope.
It took us a whole 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
First news story, though, is related to the main topic.
Yeah.
So beneath the waves, there's a strange, almost alien creature that raises questions about evolution, life on Earth, and it's basically our earliest origins. Yeah.
Okay.
They've been hiding in a sort of a tubulica sort of thing. It's almost like a filter feeding sea squid. Right. And it's a blue thing that's like a tube that literally lives at the bottom of the ocean on rocks and on the sea floor.
Okay.
Yeah. They're trying to say now that the genetics of it could date millions of years in the past.
Okay,
yeah, and could unlock some of the, keys of our evolution. So discovered by evolutionary biologist Karma Nagul at Harvard University. It's known as the hang on, let me get this right. Megalithon. Yeah, right. It started to answer some unknown questions about kind of genetics and stuff like that. And basically, it's a fossil. So they've
living fossil.
Well, kind of, yeah. But they've discovered this thing anyway, and it could answer some questions about our origins on the planet. It's almost 500 million years old.
Fucking hell.
And obviously, it's a bit old, isn't it? It's probably one of the oldest things we've ever found. And again, at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, there's shitloads there, mate.
There you go. I thought I'd start the news off with that story because it was quite relevant.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well. Have you got anything else you want to talk? Have you got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got a quick one.
Go on.
Have you watched any Wimbledon?
Nah, I don't do the tennis.
Right.
Really.
Thank you. That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you checked any of it out.
No,
I haven't either.
No, nobody. No.
Wimbledon season, you know. What
I know
so
it's on, but and I know people enjoy it, but it's just a lot of grunting, isn't it?
Yeah. I think.
And apparently the grunting really helps.
Yeah, but I think one of the guys grunted the other day, and the ref turned around and went, nope, and basically stopped it and give the point to the other person.
Why?
Yeah.
For grunting too loud, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I think, is it the number one seed?
I really don't know.
Yeah,
Well, I found this story, but I'm not sure because it basically says it's unavailable here in the UK due to legal reasons, right? But this is a story about a Kentucky man who found 700 gold coins buried on his farm.
Okay.
Yeah, valued at around $2 million.
Nice. Cha-ching.
Now apparently this is being restricted in the UK, this story, because of European economic laws, right? Yeah, so included in the EU, which enforce the general data protection of parties involved.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but this story's been blocked and we can't really report on it. But he
bet
did.
the
He found
government
700 gold coins.
I bet he's suing the government or something, and he thieved it. They've gone.
No, we're having that. That
Yeah.
belongs to
Or-
us, thank you.
Whatever these coins were like, it could be something really big, and the government have gone, I'm taking it.
Oh,
Effectively.
maybe.
I'm
Well, this is
taking
the thing,
for-
isn't it? You can't really kind of
Can't
find
say-
stuff anymore, can you?
No,
Because they
you can't
take it
have
off you.
anything. Yeah,
And
that's
say,
why it's
no,
not-
yeah, we've been looking for that, actually.
Yeah, so I wouldn't
Thanks for
bother
finding
telling
it. We'll give you a finder's fee.
Yeah, it is
Um,
a pound. Thank
maybe.
you for that £2 million.
Do you use AI a lot?
No.
No. Have
No.
you got any stories on AI?
Yeah.
Go on, what's your story?
I've got one about this new chat GPT.
Yeah.
About this, they're seriously talking now, having a universal rulings over it, but it has to be worldwide.
Well, this is the thing, because the story I've got relates to that. But this is China, who have basically released new guidelines into generative AI services. Yeah, so they're limiting the public use, encouraging and basically encouraging industrial development rather than the personal development. They're basically
I
saying,
think it's fucking wrong.
well, what they're saying now is that basically China has mandated that all AI must follow core values of socialism. China wants to generate AI services that adhere to socialist principles and encourage industry's use of the technology. So rather than using it on a personal one-on-one level, they want it to be more implemented into industry, but following their strict guidelines.
Nah. If you bring something out, everybody has to have the.
Well, this
use
thing-
of it.
the thing
not
is-
just one part of society. That's like saying, right, well, the rich can have this, but the poor can't.
Well,
You know what
again,
I mean?
it's like it's
one of them.
benefiting for. I
For
think
one
the
and not the
problem
other.
is because I've seen like like people using AI algorithms to play the stock market. I've seen
Yeah,
people using AI algorithms to write publications. There's all this stuff that's going on in Hollywood at the moment, where saying they want to stop AI being used for movie scripts and plots and all the rest of it, and even AI being used to drop extra actors in to scenes that weren't hired to do the job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Totally.
there are obviously a lot of people losing money and losing careers. But I mean, in terms of kind of like having rules that enforce a government's ideal, rather than letting it be a free platform of expression, is kind of very kind of restrictive and kind of, you're kind of saying like we will tell you what you can and can't generate on a chat GPT or on an AI platform.
Yeah, we're the ones who's supposed to run. Who's
I mean,
supposed to
they're
tell
already
the government
like
what
that.
to do, who is an actual corporation.
But
who
they
is
are
actually
already like
ordering.
that. So if you go on an AI art platform and you want to generate some AI art, then there are already restrictions built into the AI and the algorithms, because if you wanted to kind of say generate a picture that was maybe X-rated or a bit raunchy, then the AI would stop you and say, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to do that on this platform.
Well, that's the thing
So
that can be
you're
taken
already
away, though.
restricting. Of course it is, but that's what I'm saying. You're restricting the public's use of a product because of what they might use it for. But that's also restricting creativity as well as kind of freedom of expression. So, it's like there is kind of a lot of politics that is going to be coming out about AI and its usage and how we use it. So, that's something that we will keep looking into as the weeks, months, years progress, I think.
Yeah, because it's just going to progress even more. And you hit on one of my next stories, which is Hollywood. Hollywood. So
Hollywood have been striking for a while due to the AI stuff.
Hasn't happened since I think it's the 60s, the last time they did it.
Well, no, they did a writers' strike in the 2000s.
But not this big. not as this big as the 60s was. I think
It had
the
a real
last time.
knock-on effect as well,
Yeah.
that writer's strike, because obviously the first time they did it in the 2000s, there was like Lost and Heroes and all those programs really suffered for it.
And this is what's going to happen again, because they're not allowed to promote, they're not allowed to go into any award ceremonies or anything like that. So these films are, now that you've been expecting to come out, expect them not to come out.
Well,
for
they'll
a
be
long
coming out a
time.
bit later, won't
Yeah.
they?
Well,
It does
depends
have
how
a
long
knock-on
this lasts.
effect. It does have a knock-on effect
Yeah,
in
and-
terms of release dates and stuff.
AI is one of the big issues around
Well,
it.
I think it's probably one of the major issues, to be honest.
But paying all that now has come into it for.
Well, like I said, there was an actor there who's trying to break into acting. He gets a lot of extra work, and he's basically said now these studios are wanting them to come in for a one-off job. They'll scan the face, and they're not paying them to be an extra. They want to pay him for their likeness, which means that they can then drop that face into upcoming movies and only have to pay him the once, which is the thing that people are getting a bit stressed out about, and because you're going to lose income. So
there's going to be no actors. It's just going to be a case of it's been developed by a computer, animated in to look like the legit thing.
like the actor, I mean, they're doing it already with de-aging and stuff like that, using a lot of... But again, is that just post-production special effects? And is this the new kind of... It's just the new norm, because... I mean, look at like when special effects movies started coming out. You know, there was a time when we never used any special effects. It was all
stuntmen and
in camera, practical effects. We'd use smoke and mirrors. But it was all done on camera. Then there was a crossover period where we started using a lot more special effects and stuff like that. And it become the new norm. Is this not just a next step in the technology?
Yeah, I think it is.
And is it something that we're going to just have to get used to it?
It might even be the last step to the
Well, I
technology,
think like if it is a road that they do carry on going down, then I do believe the technology will always keep getting better. But it just mean that it's the brand new way of doing things, and this is how we make films now. Do you know what I mean?
It just means I could go into a room and start making my own film, and like a big, massive blockbuster with like
no budget,
budget
exactly,
there. You know what I mean? So everyone's going to be a filmmaker then.
Grand backdrops.
So
and
then that
all
ruins
the rest of it.
the film industry, and that means all them.
Well, does it? Because
films,
you've just said there, right? You could go into your room and create a movie on your without any budget and stuff like that. So that suggests to me that are we going to see a lot more really good indie movies that are coming out that are not from studios, that are just from creative minds, that people who had a vision of a movie and they've been able to realize it, where
do we want that
they couldn't do that a few years ago because they didn't have the budget. They'd have to go out and get backing and equipment and crew and all the rest of it, whereas now you can kind of get away with doing stuff on a low budget but make it look really cinematic. Do you know what I mean? Is it like, it's like when the games industry back in the day, when, you had games like Commodores and Spectrum ZX Sinclairs, where all of a sudden you put the power to develop in the hands of the consumer. So all of a sudden you find that there's all these really good indie titles start coming out, because they're homemade. And people just had an idea and made it themselves, So there could be a chance that, it might kill Hollywood, but it might usher in a new era of like independent filmmakers who are using this software and AI to help them realize their creative dreams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as we don't get a monopoly, you know what I mean? Because
we've already got
has been a monopoly, so
it's Disney.
Open it
Disney's
wide
the
open.
monopoly, I believe, and obviously it's like you monopolization. It's like there's a law against owning like a number of companies all sharing the same interest. Because you're monopolizing it. But is IP, intellectual properties the same thing? Because Disney seem to just be buying up everything, they're not being done for monopolization because they're not buying companies, they're
They're paying
buying
off, aren't they?
intellectual properties.
Yeah. I mean, the right people off. That's how they're.
Well,
getting
no,
away with
they're
that.
just basically like an IP isn't the same as a company. So you're
Yeah.
able to buy all the IP, all the popular IP,
Yeah.
and you're all under the one banner, Disney. So it's
then-
easy to do. It's not a monopolization.
Yeah, but then it only has to take one rule, and if
I get it.
someone goes to court and we can
But
change
they've just
that
just
and-
basically bought. They've just invested a shit ton of money in Doctor Who. Disney Plus, which gave them, they've got the rights to
They haven't
broadcast
been on for a year now.
Doctor Who. So the new Who,
Doctor, yeah.
the new Doctor Who, which is going to be called New 2 or
New 2?
Yeah, Russell T Davis. So it's RT2,
Oh, right.
RTD2.
Nah,
Yeah, seriously.
That's Star Wars, mate.
So Russell T,
Yeah.
RT,
yeah.
Doctor 2. Yeah, so this is Russell T Davis's second time around on Doctor Who.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going R2 or D2. Yeah, but it's
Okay.
Russell T Davis. Yeah, as well. So RTD2. Yeah,
Oh,
if you like, and that's what
Okay.
he's doing it on
Alright,
Twitter
yeah,
apparently,
that's the
right?
way he's doing it.
But now that Disney Plus have basically, so Disney used to. Doctor Who used to be available on like BBC America and BBC World.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now Disney Plus have got exclusivity to it. So although we'll still get it in the UK on BBC, nothing will change. But in America and anywhere else in the world,
gonna have to pay.
they'll go through Disney Plus.
Oh,
to watch their Doctor Who fix. So whether the new Doctor Who's with Russell T Davis are going to be any good, we'll see.
Can't we tape it and do
But
some copies and
what I
send
will
it over
say
to him?
is the only thing is, well, we'll do it all on AI, yeah.
Well, yeah,
But
that's
like
right.
the main thing I'm getting at here is, like Disney Plus might say, we're going to get exclusivity of this IP, monopolizing all the good IP.
Yeah.
They'll be investing money into it, yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's again, it's like, well, now does Disney have a say in the direction of the show because they're investing so much money?
Depends on the contract,
And is
won't
it going to be like, oh, we're going to try and make Doctor Who more Hollywood? I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway.
Yeah,
It's
whatever
an
happens,
interesting
it'll
one.
probably go fucking wrong.
I've got this story about roller coasters. It seems to be happening quite a lot. Roller coasters stopping mid-roller.
Fuck.
Yeah, and leaving roller coaster fans hanging upside down
Blood rushing to the head.
for hours and hours. It keeps happening. This is a story about basically a summer amusement that turned into a serious nightmare on Sunday after a roller coaster malfunctioned in mid-air, trapping 8 passengers upside down for several hours.
Well, they're lucky it didn't come off, to be honest.
So this was the Fireball. It was a vertical loop in Forest County Festival in Crandon, in Wisconsin, I think. It stopped basically unexpectedly and left roller coaster patrons dangling for their lives upside down. Now, I saw one in the UK not so long ago. This keeps happening.
Yeah.
And the big one in Blackpool, which used to be called the Pepsi Max Big One,
That's right.
that did it, which meant that basically everyone had to abandon the roller coaster and walk down the tracks.
Oh.
Yeah. Big roller coaster, that.
Yeah,
So imagine
massive.
if you're scared of heights or you're a bit kind of nervous about this type of stuff, and they've had to ask you to get off and walk down this rickety ladder.
So I want my fucking money back,
Mate.
and then some.
What do you reckon to it? Do you think this is a case of that these attractions are getting so old now that they're not being
I think they're just not being
maintained?
maintained, right? And I mean, we haven't had major issues with them, really. If you think about it, you imagine
Well, they seem to be
every day.
quite a lot nowadays. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's to me, it's kind of like an accident makes money. You know
Well,
what I mean?
true. Well, I mean, to be fair, when there was the accident at Alton Towers on the new ride, because I always made a point of going to Alton Towers to do the new ride,
Yeah.
and then that Smiler
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
and I think there was somebody who kind of had a really serious accident on it, and I wouldn't go on it. So, I mean, it's not a case of that any publicity is good publicity when it comes to something like that. That really put me off going on that ride full stop.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's still in operation, and they've probably ironed out all the kinks, but it's still,
It
some
happened.
people might go, oh yeah, that's an appeal. Yeah, that's appealing. I might want to go on that ride because somebody did lose an arm on it or whatever. But like, at the end of the day,
But in mean?
Is that more of like, you know, a danger? Like, you know, the thrill seeker.
It should make you think that you are vulnerable. You're not. You're not. You know.
Be careful, guys,
Yeah,
if you're
you know
riding
what I mean?
roller coasters. I love a roller coaster, but I don't want to get trapped on one.
Nah, I'm not
Anyway.
really into the roller coasters.
Just thought I'd mention it. It was an interesting story. Have you got anything else you want to discuss?
I have. That's funny the other day. So now you know the president of America, Biden. He's now, because he's fell up so many times. There is a warning on
He's
Air
fell
Force.
up.
Yeah.
How's he fell up?
There's a warning on Air Force One of minding the step on his fucking
Right.
plane.
Okay. When you said fell up, I was like, fell up what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
okay. So
so
he's
he's
tripped
fall-
on the steps
He
of
keeps
Air
doing
Force
it, doesn't
One.
he? He's doing it all the time. But now he's had like.
He's an old man.
Yeah, I know, but all right then, take a fucking walker with you. You know what I mean? Or get a lift. He's the president. You know what I mean?
Get a Stannah stair lift on the Air
That's it.
Force One
Bam.
plate doors.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's decent.
You know what I mean?
Fair
It's the
enough.
same way as if you take a disabled person.
So is that the only? You know, is that kind of like the
Yeah,
only?
I just thought it was funny that
Oh.
they've actually put the sign on there now, just to warn him.
Just
that,
for him.
You know, watch your steps, son. You know,
Bless.
you might fall after the second one.
Oh, well, he
If he
needs,
can.
you know what I mean? He needs to get some sort of like help, doesn't he?
He does.
Like
He
home
needs to go
help or
hospital.
something like that.
He needs to go. That's what I
Come
think.
on, just, you know, one more step. You're
Yeah.
almost on.
Yeah.
Well done,
Done,
Mr.
yeah,
Biden.
yeah.
Well done, Mr.
Put
President.
your bib on and I'll change your nappy.
And
in a
you'll
minute.
get your jello.
Yeah.
well,
Okay, definitely jello.
I've got this story. Police arrest a woman after allegedly making 2,700 false emergency calls.
Fucking
Now, that is a
hell.
lot of emergency calls.
Especially in one day.
She claimed she was lonely.
Huh?
Very lonely. The Japanese woman was arrested on Thursday after allegedly making over 2,700 calls. It was 2,761 unnecessarily emergency calls over a period of 2 years, 9 months.
Also, there was some emergency calls that it was necessary, but
No, I don't think any of them
Any
were
of them.
necessary. They were all unnecessary, according to the police. The emergency calls were made over a 2 year, 9 month period. But the lady said that, yeah, she was an unemployed resident and she was living in the city in East Tokyo. And, you know, she was becoming a bit of a nuisance. But she was calling the local fire department,
No.
basically accused of repeatedly making emergency calls from her home and her neighbourhood. So she's been arrested. The 51-year-old suspect was reportedly admitted to doing it. But during such emergency calls, she was said to have complained about a stomachache, drug overdoses, aching legs, amongst other symptoms. According to the report, she had requested that the fire department dispatch ambulances to her home more than one occasion. When the ambulances arrived, she reportedly refused to be transported by them and said she didn't want to take an ambulance. She didn't make the call. So yeah, she's seriously. I mean, the thing is about making emergency calls unnecessarily is you're stopping the emergency services from getting to an actual emergency.
Yeah.
So, you know, that could be the difference between somebody dying and being saved.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're kind of being called out for unnecessary bullshit, then they're putting lives at risk. So I'm glad that they've dealt with her, to be honest.
I'm trying to remember what you call someone who fakes ailments.
A hypochondriac.
No, there's another word for it.
No, that's what I'd call it. If you faked an
there
ailment and said that you were sick all the time, I'd
No,
say
you-
you were a
yeah.
hypochondriac.
It's sort of sort of like that. It might be that, to be honest.
Nah, it is that.
Well, no, I'm thinking of another word.
Okay.
But yeah, I think.
Well,
she's
if you know
probably
what
got
the
something
other
like
word
that.
Taylor's thinking about, then you let us know.
Yeah, please do. But what they need over there is Salvation Army, by the sounds of things, because it sounds like like she said, she was had no one to talk to and shit. Call them up, they don't mind.
Well, that's the Samaritans.
Yeah, Samaritans.
Do you want to fucking get a grip tonight, you? Do you want?
Salvation
You've got the
Army.
Salvation
Don't
Army.
they do that as well?
You know that other word you can't remember. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you what my riddle was in a minute, and you know what I mean. I don't think you'll get that right.
No, I don't think.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I think you're right there, one.
Well, I've got this story here about a bank hold-up that went a bit wry. So basically, this was a very intelligent teller in a bank. Basically asks the robber to take a seat.
What?
Yeah. So simple
I'll
as.
see you in a minute, sir.
Yeah. Right. So after handing
Did
over
he?
a note saying, like, give us all the money, the bank teller just basically said, if you take a seat, we'll be with you in a moment. Yeah. Giving them enough time to allow the police to arrive. Yeah.
So he did go and sit down?
Yeah, went and sat down and waited. Yeah, right. The police arrived and made an arrest. So last week, a man was allegedly rolled into a bank in Hollywood, and with a plan to nab, the cash. Instead of walking out with a bundle of money, he was hoodwinked into sitting in the lobby. While law enforcement made their way to the scene, according to FBI. So he was a 77-year-old man, walked into a branch of a bank on Tyler Avenue in a polo shirt and a grey shorts, basically demanding money. When got told to take a seat, sir, we'll be with you in a moment. I can't believe the guy actually did it. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're going to come out with a big bag with swag written on it, and just there you are, sir. I hope this is adequate. But obviously the bank teller obviously must have been a bit kind of like taken back, a bit fearful, but didn't let him take anything.
Good girl.
So
you know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's good.
She tell basically it right way. That's how you deal with a robber.
That is decent. Yeah. So well done, you hero.
Well done.
Right, go for it.
Well, have you heard this row with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh, what are they rowing about? Who's got the most money?
Well, no, it's about Mark Zuckerberg's brought out a Twitter kind of new app, and over 5 days it made 100 million viewers.
Oh, users.
Users, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're having like a little twit war at the minute against each other, and so because Mark does a bit of martial arts, and Elon's gone, I'll have you a cage fight.
Oh,
and
God.
He's offering him out for cage fight.
When you said that then, it just made me think of Elang Oolang Oolang, that song. But you said it weird, so go.
Now it's gone on like a big roller coaster of like people.
So it's
want to see
basically,
this,
I want to see it because basically it's like KSI and Logan Paul, isn't it? It's like this is the ultimate boxing match you could see on social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the social
pay-per-view
Now, I've said this, instead of having wars, right? If you've got two dictators or two leaders of countries, like having a beef, then stick them in the ring. I don't want to go to war for you, but I'll happily watch you fight it out. Right? If you've got a squabble, then let's see it. Right? That's what I want. Right? But the fact is, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk, that'd just be the silliest fight I've ever seen in my life.
Who do you reckon will win?
Neither of them. I think they'll probably just fucking fall over.
I think Elon Musk would be like one slice, and it'd be like, oh, I'm tired now.
And I don't know. I mean, all of your Zuckerberg martial arts moves,
jumping around like a ninja
in his pajamas.
Like,
Can't see it. I would like to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
There's money for charity being put on the line here as well.
Oh well, I think like if the people want to see it, then I want to see it. But the thing is, these people are just ridiculous because it's like, I think we've talked about it so many times, like, if they weren't busy spending shit tons of money on Twitter and fucking killing themselves in submarines, then we could end world hunger. You know what I mean? All they do is that literally, I think Elon Musk could have ended homelessness with half of what he paid for Twitter. So I mean, stick him in a ring.
Yeah, well,
I want to see that. Well done.
I want to see him fight out.
Let's
make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Yeah. I'll tweet him later.
Yeah.
I've got this story about a German businessman.
Okay.
Yeah, his body's been found in a freezer.
All right.
In Thailand, along with a chainsaw and some hedge clippers.
What?
True story. So this is the dismembered body of a missing German businessman has been found in a freezer inside a house in South Thailand. They found it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
They basically said that, don't know how the guy got there, but investigators located the body using security camera footage from the area. And then obviously, but there's no evidence. They don't know how he's ended up in this freezer. So obviously, he's obviously gone over to Thailand and got himself in a pickle. But there is a reward, $86,000 for information leading up to the, the prosecution. Obviously, crowds gathered outside the gates of the house where the body was discovered to watch the forensics team as they kind of tried to comb the area for clues and stuff. It kind of goes to show you, doesn't it? It's like crazy how, like video surveillance, we whinge about it being everywhere, but, it does kind of come in handy every now and again.
Yeah, true, but it's not the surveillance, it's the abuse of the surveillance. That's the main.
Well, yeah, as long as it's not being abused and only used for the times when it's needed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's crazy, that, isn't it? It's almost like, nobody can answer how this happened. It's almost like reminds me of the guy who got zipped up in a suitcase.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to know what line of business he was in, to end up in a freezer.
There was one round my way, actually. Suitcase.
A
suitcase, yeah.
What, a suitcase?
A suitcase, yeah. Somebody was found in a suitcase full pocket.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Except for the head. The head was missing.
Okay, well, shit.
That was some bad news that day.
That was a bad news day, that, wasn't it? Have you got any more news stories you'd like to cover?
I've just got NASA now.
Okay, well, I've got one or two more. Let's have a look.
Yes.
Hello. Right, okay, so my last story in the normal news. Basically, a screaming woman attracted the attention of passers-by and neighbours.
Yeah.
Only when the police rushed the house to find out what was going on. They found that it was a very large parrot. Yeah. The police swooped into the home following reports of a screaming woman, only to find it wasn't a woman at all. It was a parrot making a load of noise. 3 police cars were dispatched to a property in Essex.
Okay.
Nowhere else.
Turned up.
Where else could you? You know what I mean? One, I would have thought. I mean, that sounds really on the ball for the police. To be fair,
you know what I mean.
The police cars were dispatched. They obviously heard the screaming from the property. When they bust through the door at about 1:50 p.m. on Tuesday, they discovered that it wasn't a woman at all. It was a parrot. Pet owner Steve Wood, 54, said he was stunned when the door came flying off the hinges, and the police busted in a panic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're lucky he didn't get clobbered.
It's true. Do you know what I mean?
Where's that woman? What you done with her?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Yeah, well, the bird keeper basically just assured the officers that the noise was literally just his 3-year-old pet. But Woods kept 22 parrots, apparently, recorded a video of the aftermath saying that it was a bit of a trouble caused by concerned neighbours who were passing by and telling the police that there was screaming coming from the property. It's brilliant. It's made his year. He says, thank you very much.
It made me think, in about 15 years' time, he's going to be pulled up for being a mass murderer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got perfect cover,
He has, hasn't he? The police will just go past and go, nah, it's just these parrots.
Yeah, no worries.
There you go. The two officers who attended Woods came to be seen in the video laughing along with it all. So, yeah. They took it in good stride by the sounds of it.
Yeah, but they also got a bill for the door that they kicked in.
Yeah, most probably. It's like, oh, shit. All right, we owe you a door. Okay, so we're moving on into NASA news. We've got some excellent NASA news, I believe.
We have, Japan's new rocket has just gone for testing.
Okay.
Fucker blew up. Big style.
Always does, doesn't
Big
it? I mean, this is the thing,
style,
like, where didn't he blow up last time as well?
No, that was Elon Musk's.
No, not that one. I think Japan had actually tried sending one up as well, and it blew up.
Oh, yeah.
Not that long ago, I think. I'm not sure. This seems to happen quite often.
It does.
Well, that's why they were doing tests, isn't it? It's tests, so, you know.
You need to... if you don't have no damage, then you don't know what you're looking for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So you got to have the damage. You got anything?
I've got this story about Anonymous. Anonymous have now stepped into the UFO and UAP debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anonymous is saying that he's vowed to uncover the truth about UFOs and UAPs. Basically saying that, obviously the governments are hiding stuff, hiding technology and suppressing technology.
Yeah.
Making us out to be chumps, basically.
Yeah.
So Anonymous have decided, they've released a video basically saying that, they vow to uncover the truth about UFOs, unidentified flying objects, UAPs, and other, aerial phenomenon. The Shadowy organisation is known for various cyber attacks against several governments and government agencies.
Big companies as well.
As well as big companies.
Yeah.
As well as attacking the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
Now they've released a video saying that Anonymous has announced that it's launching its own investigation. So let's see what happens with
fan
that.
Of Anonymous.
It's going to be called Project Disclosure.
Okay.
So let's see what they can come up with.
Why the fuck have they used that? Because that's the meeting that happened not that long ago with
the Republican.
Stephen
Well, you've got the Republican Senator Marco Rubio,
Yes.
who said that there's been obviously as well as multiple whistleblowers coming out.
Lately.
So I think this is all because of all this. There's a lot of governors, there's a lot of senators, people coming
quite
out.
A few now,
so
yeah.
I think like Anonymous, they seem to get results because they don't take the shit. So I'd appreciate if they did find out something. Thanks.
Yeah, they've done major damage to like major corporations behind the line, but it hasn't been reported.
Well, let's see what they come up with. Obviously, they're trying to uncover black projects, secret budgets, as well as
doing that before.
What's going on with aerospace companies, as well as the UFO phenomenon itself. So yeah, we'll see what's coming up with that, and we'll let you know if we find anything in the near future.
I'm always watching them. So
oh god, I've got a crick in the neck.
Comes,
so I've got another story here. UFO hunters say alien spaceship was too big to move. Is basically being stored in a circular building.
All right.
Yeah, so this craft is being hidden from prying eyes, apparently, because it was too big to move, so they just built a building around it.
I've heard of one in Nevada. There's one there as well. They had to dig the ground like a mothership, and they had to cover it in the ground.
Well, you know which one they're talking about, don't they?
Oh, what the
They're talking about the Millennium Dome, right?
Oh.
So investigators says he knows where they crashed, a UFO crashed. It was a flying saucer, and it was too big to move. The non-human craft was being hidden from prying eyes beneath the purpose-built structure of the Millennium Dome.
Well, I was actually living around there at the time that was being created.
Okay.
And nothing like that actually.
You said you saw a planet in the sky, though.
Yeah, that was...
Maybe that was it?
That was... No, well, fucking hell, well...
Well,
no, it wouldn't have fitted in there, honestly. It wouldn't have fitted in there without... Nah.
Well, there's a chap called Ross Collihart who told Project Unity on YouTube that some of these objects are not capable of being moved. They're just too bloody big. So they would easily have to be kind of like built around them, purpose built. And he believes that that's what the Millennium Dome is. So, why would they build this crazy building out of nowhere?
Celebration
of the Millennium.
Art as well,
Maybe, I don't.
Well, don't forget there was like a human body in there, like having a walk through my kidneys and
he said
my eyeballs and that.
The Australian who wrote the UFO book In Plain Sight said he knows exactly where it is. He says he thought it was bollocks when he first heard it, but he's revealed there's been a frenzy amongst UFO hunters, but he does actually believe that the circular base, there's another one as well, circular base in Korea, South Korea, is also a hiding place for something. Well, there you go.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about the
Who
North
knows?
Korean one.
It might be. No, definitely not Millennium Dome.
I don't believe it. For that.
Don't buy
like
that.
I said, I was around there at the time, so.
Right, come on, give us your NASA news.
Well, India is on Friday just set their rocket off again to go and land on the moon because roughly about a year ago they did it and wasn't successful because the they couldn't land the actual module. But now, trying it again, and hopefully they're going to get through and land it.
Okay.
So that would be the 4th country to ever have landed on the moon, which is America, Russia, China, and it will be
Who?
India.
India.
Yeah.
Oh, well done, India.
Yeah.
Landing on the moon.
Successfully land there.
Well, yeah, obviously, if they do it, but I mean, actually making the effort to do it in the first place is a good start, isn't it?
That's
so
true.
well done, India, for actually taking that leap.
Yeah.
Well done.
We've been having more and more meteorites, green meteorites coming in. And
Yeah,
it's
when you
kind
said
of-
this about green
yeah.
meteorites, I was like, "What? Green? Why is that important? And is that not just sort of like
the chemical?
well, yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
isn't it not just the chemical compound of
Yeah.
the meteorite burning up in our atmosphere that gives
Yeah.
it the green hue?
Yeah. But like, our planet was going through a massive dust storm. We should be leaving it now, which like created a lot of meteorites coming in, but we didn't have as many as like what we seem to be having, especially in the last 6 months. And especially that kind of compound as well, that colour, green or blue. And don't forget, there was one of them that supposedly landed in a back garden as well.
Well, yeah, where the
too.
creature
Yeah,
came
you know
out,
what I mean?
apparently.
And
Yeah.
There's going to be quite. I can see there's going to be quite a few more of them kind of cases coming up. It's
Ooh,
kind
well,
of
let's
like
see. I mean,
a
if you
frenzy kind of thing. At the
If you
minute, but it
see
might be
a
something.
green meteorite,
Yeah.
then take a picture. We'd love to see.
Yeah, and
Obviously,
see
some
where
of
it
these things
lands
are
as
so
well.
fast that you don't know.
Yeah.
You just see it and you ain't got time to get your camera out.
Yeah.
But
Most
if
of
you
car
do,
cameras are getting these days, to be honest, because
because they're always recording, aren't they?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And we've also got, which I think's kind of just gonna tell. The world's largest nuclear fusion rocket engine is being constructed right now in the UK.
Well,
Yet
God bless
we
you.
haven't actually got it yet.
We're
But-
planning on it.
but-
We're going to make
so
it.
why are you building it now then?
Just don't build it because, well, this is
Well,
it.
then that tells me that they already got it.
Yeah, it says to
we
me
were
that they've
headed-
already built
yeah.
it, and they're just going, "Oh yeah, we're just going to let you know that we're planning on maybe doing this thing.
We
that
can do
we've
the
already got it
fusion
in
now."
the basement."
Yeah. So
Well, no,
it's-
there was a breakthrough on fusion energy
Yeah, but
this
it
year.
was-
There's been a groundbreaking discovery in terms of cold fusion and how we can get a renewable energy.
Yeah. But it's the lasting of it, the long lasting of it, because it goes out after a certain amount
So
of time.
do you think that they've cracked that now?
They
and
must
they've-
have cracked it. Why
Well,
would
that's
you
a good
design
thing, isn't
something?
it?
You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
good
If
thing
you haven't,
that if,
yeah, and
it
it's
obviously-
UK as well, so it helps us a
Well,
lot.
yeah, it means
and
it
we were ahead of the game.
it means our energy bills might go down.
Oh, fuck it, yeah.
Eventually.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
Probably in about 50 years' time.
We'll see
or
what happens.
something.
Well, it's infrastructure, isn't it? They'll be like, "Oh, well, we need
That's
to
it.
build this, so it's going to be a bit expensive, but your children's children
Yeah.
will enjoy free energy."
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you. All right.
Cheers for
then.
that.
I'll
Appreciate
spend all
that.
the money now and build the corporation up.
It's true, though,
Thank
isn't
you,
it?
and get fuck off.
Well, there you go. I think that's all of it, isn't it? That's all the
Yeah.
news for this week.
It
I
is.
hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been a bit of a mixed bag of crazy stories and, Russian sea creatures.
Yeah, little monsters.
And crazy alien monsters and mermaids. So
Cocoons.
cocoons.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've enjoyed the show, please send us a comment and show us some love by liking, subscribing.
Yeah.
If you wherever you get your podcast from,
there.
make sure you subscribe because
Yeah.
I do know that from our analytics
Yeah.
that we get a lot of people listening, but
Yeah.
not everybody is subscribed. So make sure you do
come
that,
on, please
especially on
subscribe.
YouTube.
Yeah. You need to.
We'll be
Don't
back
we know
next
you're there?
week for another episode. But in the meantime, we've got plenty of back catalogue to get through. If you want to go and check through the 200 plus episodes of the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Getting massive now, man.
We're live all the time over on TikTok.
Yes.
And yeah, we're just enjoying the company of you guys, and you guys can come over and have a chat with us.
Yeah, say hello.
So good. We'll be back, like I say, next week for another episode. Am I missing anything?
You're not. If you like some
A lot
merch,
of chocolate on your biscuit.
Well, yeah. I
If
like
you
a lot of
if you
chocolate.
like a lot of chocolate on your
Yeah.
biscuit, get some merch.
Yeah.
Because we've got plenty of merch over on the
Certainly
website.
have.
T-shirts designed by fantastic illustrator Ross Cooker, as well as other bits and pieces, mugs and all sorts.
Come on,
show your support
Yeah.
by subscribing on Spotify, subscribing on TikTok, and just subscribing on all of
Whatever
the podcast
platform you go
platforms,
onto.
because that bit is absolutely free.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
free as a bird.
yeah, right. We'll be back next week.
We will.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Out.
Do you really think they were mermaids?
I don't know,